Now, the rest of the story. It was a tremendous explosion, at least the sound of one. It got the headmaster's attention, that's for certain. Almost jerked his head off his shoulders is what it did. But anyway, he looked up and saw the open window in the dormitory just in time to see the window curtains come flying out, and the curtains were on fire. They fluttered to earth, lay there smoldering on the lawn. Meanwhile, puffs of smoke were still wafting from the open window. The headmaster had an excellent idea of whose window that was, and indeed it was Sam's. The headmaster stormed into the dorm, banged on the door of the suspect room. He could hear coughing inside. The noose was tightening. Momentarily, the unhappy 15-year-old opened the door a crack. Could the headmaster have a word with Sam? He asked sternly. The question was clearly rhetorical, for more than one word fell upon the boy's ears that day, and among them the instructions that he was to remain in his room until a decision could be reached regarding his fate. Well, Sam knew that could mean only one thing. He was about to be expelled from Amherst Academy for blowing up his room. The explosion was unintentional, of course, as was the consequent burning and the subsequent hasty disposal of the window curtains. Sam was merely pursuing his passion, namely things that go boom. He had become obsessed with explosives. And quite early in life, even as a baby, he grew still and apparently attentive whenever his grandfather told harrowing war stories in his own youth. And later, at age 5, Sam became frustrated with a toy cannon because it made no noise. So he stuffed the muzzle with stolen gunpowder, tossed a burning stick down after it. Next thing he knew, and to his exceeding joy, the little cannon was sailing through the air in the wake of a tremendous detonation. Sam later experimented with submersible mines, with which he blew up good-sized rafts, blew them right out of the water. In fact, even after enrolling in the new academy at Amherst, Massachusetts, he continued experimenting with explosives, in secrecy, of course. The academy had strict rules concerning such things. He was making firecrackers in the little laboratory that he'd rigged in his room on the day his hobby was discovered. School administrators had suspected that he was up to something. Well, now they knew what. It all came down to expulsion or resignation. Sam chose the latter. But you know, he never outgrew his childhood fascination with things that go boom. And that obsession one day launched his name into the history books. For once upon a time there was a little boy who wanted to make a big noise, and he kept right on making noise until he had created the weapon, the revolving breech so-called six-shooter, the handgun that tamed the West. That's right. You know the little lad who almost blew Amherst Academy to kingdom come. You know him as Samuel Colt. Only now you know the rest of the story.
And now the rest of the story. Samuel Colt was born in Hartford, Connecticut on July 19, 1814. At the young age of 10, he began working in his father's textile factory in Ware, Massachusetts. For 4 years, young Sam worked faithfully in that factory. Then, for reasons that remain unclear, his father sent him to school in Amherst. We heard in Mr. Harvey's broadcast about Sam's unfortunate accident at school. Newspapers reporting on Sam's early life glossed over the incident and reported that he managed to run away from this establishment. Nothing more. After his resignation, Sam began learning the shipping trade. Some say this was Sam's choice, while others argue it was his father's choice. But Sam preferred experimenting with black powder firearms more than learning to be a sailor. But on a voyage to Calcutta, Sam got an idea. He recognized that he could use the mechanics of a ship's capstan to create a reliable revolver pistol. A ship's capstan was a vertical axled rotating machine that multiplied the pulling power of sailors. Using long wooden poles like spokes in a wheel, sailors pushed them to haul cables and ropes. An automatic ratcheting mechanism kept the axle from turning in the opposite direction. Other inventors had created multiple-barreled handguns, and some had created single-barreled revolvers, but they were complicated, difficult to use, and expensive. Sam wanted to create a revolver handgun where only the cylinder revolved, and it was easy to use and inexpensive. It was the capstan's ratcheting mechanism that Sam recognized as being the key to making a successful revolving cylinder pistol. The importance of a revolving cylinder pistol is its speed. Sam wanted a pistol which would fire multiple times before having to reload. In 1832, 18-year-old Sam returned working in his father's factory. Sam soon grew weary of factory work. Sam's father funded the development of 2 guns, a rifle and a pistol. The rifle was a success, but the pistol exploded on the first test. Sam's father refused to fund any more of his experiments out of fear that his son would be injured or even killed. Under the name of Dr. Colt, C-O-U-L-T, Sam traveled throughout the United States and British provinces lecturing on chemistry, more specifically, nitrous oxide gas. For a 25-cent entry fee, large audiences watched as Sam administered nitrous oxide gas on human volunteers to learn the effects the gas had on humans. In Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Sam's lectures were so popular that he held 4 lectures in a single week, and this happened all over the place. He had to have multiple lectures in each town. The Pittsburgh Manufacturer reported, "The scenes that ensued from inhaling it during the exhibition beggars all description. Some danced and jumped, others cut up singularly fantastic tricks, but the greater portion of those who inhaled it became extremely pugnacious. Some of these, though placed within a strong enclosure, managed to escape from it and attack and beat unmercifully the audience. One strong fellow, who became, on taking it, as furious as an enraged lion, sprang over the enclosure and drove every soul out of the room into the street, beating 2 or 3 of them very severely." Now it seems Sam liked to use some theatrics in his lectures. Nitrous oxide gas is commonly referred to as laughing gas. You know, when you go to the dentist. When inhaled, it normally gives people the feelings of euphoria, relaxation, calmness, and a sense of detachment. Sam used money from his lectures to perfect his famous revolver. In 1835, 21-year-old Sam received his first patent for revolving firearms. What were you doing at 21 years of age? I wasn't doing anything this productive. In that same year, Sam formed a company to produce the revolvers, but there was so little demand that the company eventually suspended operations. The outbreak of the Mexican-American War brought new demand for Colt's revolvers. Demand continued to increase, and Colt revolvers were produced in England and in Russia under Sam's supervision. Barbara Tucker, professor of history at Eastern Connecticut State University, said that the Colt's marketing techniques transformed the firearm from a utilitarian object into a symbol of American identity. Sam associated his revolvers with American patriotism, freedom, and individualism, while asserting America's technological supremacy over Europe's. I'm Brad Dison. Thanks for watching, and as Paul Harvey would say, good day.